Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. This is going to be a slower practice. It's called Yin Yoga. So the Yin is the much slower paced, still feeling the stretch, but you're getting into the deeper tissues, not just the muscles, but the tissues of your ligaments and your tendons and your fascia. And you're allowing those to be stretched and get nourished with that stretch by bringing some blood flow to that area. We're going to hold them for about 2 to 3 minutes each side, and then end with a nice 5 to 8 minute Shavasana. You definitely need props for this. You need to support yourself so that you can get a bit of a stretch but yet relax into the pose. So a blanket of some sort, blocks are handy as well, and definitely a strap for later. So gather the supplies you need, press pause, and then come back. And we're going to start in Hero's Pose. So sitting in Hero's Pose, sitting on a block. You want to place that block any width. You can even stack the 2 blocks, whatever is best for your body. You're going to place it between your heels and then draw the knees toward one another. As you sit up on the block, making sure your sit bones are right on the block and that your feet then are squeezing the outside of that block. And just sit up nice and tall. And then your hands are either going to turn up or turn down. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back, draw that lower belly in, and then let the gaze look down. Just start to turn your attention to your breath. The breath doesn't have to do anything special here. It's just going to come in and out, and you're just going to notice it. So this first 3 minutes that we're going to spend on the block is a little bit of a meditation time to allow yourself to come into the present moment. So just focusing on your breath. 3 different general areas you can focus your breath on. You can focus the sensation of the air entering and leaving the nose. And again, no need to change your breath, just breathing normally. You can do the rise and fall of your chest, or maybe the in and out of your belly. So it's a much more relaxed practice, less forcing of the breath, but try to have the breath a little bit fuller than you would normal. So not normal breath when we get into the postures, but as for right now, just notice your breath. Notice the quality of the breath. Eyes can begin to close if you'd like. Taking inventory over the body. Just allowing yourself to become more present with every passing breath. Starting to set an intention for this practice of just letting go, being in the present moment, or staying with your breath. A lot of times when we slow our practice down, especially if you're like me and you enjoy your vinyasa classes or your flow classes, when you get into these yin classes and you're holding a little longer, it gets a little more challenging for the brain to stay with the pose. So just acknowledge where your mind goes when it wants to escape, and then bring it back to the breath. No judgment, just bring it back. Letting yourself come back into the present moment with your body. A few more seconds here. Dropping in. Notice if there's anywhere you can release any tension on your next exhales. If you haven't already, try to deepen your breath slightly. And go ahead and let those eyes blink open if they've been closed. And from here, you're going to roll yourself forward. You're going to remove yourself off that block. And you're going to take your blanket and you're going to fold it so it's nice and propped up. And then you're going to fold it so you have a nice little rectangle. The little fringe, if you have any fringe, is going to go toward the back so it's not in your way, but you're going to face it so that little corner is where you're going to sit. So your sit bones are going to be on the edge of that corner. So you're going to go ahead and bring that blanket down, and then you're going to come and you're going to sit on that blanket. Your sit bones right on that corner. So your sit bones are on, so this is going to lift you up just a little bit. Adjust it as much as you need to for your legs. And then you're going to take both legs out straight. Taking your right leg and bend it. Take your left leg, slide it underneath so it's right next to that edge. And then see if you can slide back to get your hips nice and equal on that bolster or blanket. And then take that right foot, cross it over the left. So you might already feel a stretch. Maybe it's too much. Prop yourself up a little bit higher. Press down to that front foot and then start to hug that knee into your chest. And just grab either opposite elbows or maybe even grab your wrists. And just hold here. So you're pulling in, press that right hip slightly forward, lift up and sit tall on the sit bones and breathe. So over here, you're going to look straight down your chest. Deepen your breath. You're going to feel that belly start to press against the thigh. You're going to press down into both legs and start to send that right hip slightly forward so you feel a stretch. If there's too much tension in the arm against the leg, you can open a little bit more, maybe go to fingers interlaced, hugging around the knee. Keep going in a little deeper, but resist that urge to take the elbow over the knee. So we're not going that deep. We're just hugging in. And again, if you want to go deeper, that's when you take opposite hands and elbows and then draw the right shoulder back. Full breaths here. Check in. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Breathing into all those areas. Guiding the breath there, allowing those areas to fill with oxygen, allowing them to stretch a little. Few more seconds here. Try to relax the face, relax the shoulders, slowing the breath down. Exhale fully. And then slowly unwind. Go ahead and take that right leg, bring it out. Bring the left leg up. Give the legs a little stretch out, wiggle the toes. And then bending the knee, take that right leg underneath. So that one I was going to go against that corner. Sit up nice and tall. And then draw that left leg over. And this side might be a little tighter. Adjust yourself so you're up on that bolster. Press in with that left foot. And start to hug the knee. So you might notice this side's a little different. Drop that left hip down, lift up through the chest, and hug the knee in. Gazing down toward your chest. Breathing. Pressing firmly down into that bottom leg. Pressing into the left foot as you open the chest toward the left. Full breaths. Belly pressing against the thigh. Arm resisting that thigh from moving. Breathing down into the spaces where you feel the stretch. Keeping your mind on the breath, on the stretch in the present moment. And exhale fully. Inhale, unwind. Slowly unwind those legs, lengthen them out in front. Give them a little shake, wiggle the toes. We're going to come come to hands and knees, taking that blanket and unwind it a little bit so you have some support for your knees. And you're going to place both knees on the blanket, having your blocks handy up front. And then you're going to take your right foot, step it forward. So you're going to stack your front knee over that front ankle. Your blocks are here in case the floor is too low. And then you're going to kind of shift those hips forward. Press into the front foot, let those hips drop down, and then uncurl your back toe. Press all 5 toes into the mat. So again, you can stay here. Maybe your elbows can come to the blocks, but you're pressing into that front foot, but also then letting your hips drop down. So you're getting a stretch on that left hip. Breathing here, hands can come here, hands can come to the floor. Sometimes when your hands press in too hard and you lock out your shoulders, or your elbows, you can create tension in your shoulders. So just breathing here. Good, shoulders roll back, hips drop forward. Create a little bit of tension so you're not completely just dropping into the pelvis. You have a little bit of pressing back on that front foot to create a little contraction in the right hip. We're trying to let that left hip open up. Full breaths. Notice where you're holding any tension. And see if you can release it on your exhales. Few more rounds of breath here. Keep pressing down into that back toe, pressing into the front leg, and letting that tailbone almost drop down to your front heel. Exhale fully. Inhale, shift your weight back. Slide that right foot back, come to your hands and knees. Do a couple rounds of cat-cow as you inhale, belly drop, shoulders roll back, gaze goes up. And as you exhale, press the hands around the spine. 2 more rounds, inhale. And exhale. 1 more round here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, nice long spine. And then as you exhale, bring those hands back to the block, step that left foot forward. Good, stacking that knee right over the ankle. Pressing the hips forward, and then uncurl the back toe, press all 5 toenails into the floor. Shoulder blades roll onto the back. Belly lifts, tailbone drops, and then start to send those hips forward. So again, you have the options with your blocks at any level. Maybe even the blocks are too low, and so you're happy with your hands on your thigh. But wherever you go, try to release any tension in the shoulders and jaw. Again, keeping that little tension in that right foot pressing down, and the left foot pressing down, and that right hip drawing forward slightly. Slight engagement in that right glute. And shoulders rolling back as those breaths grow deeper. Adjusting slowly when you have to adjust. Staying with the sensation. If there's any pain, definitely come out, but if it's just a deeper sensation than you're used to, a deeper stretch, try to hold into it. Try to stay in the discomfort and just notice where your mind goes as that discomfort tries to distract you. And then return your breath back to your mind back to your breath. fully here. As you inhale, shift the hips back. Exhale, slide that left foot back. Bring the hands to the floor. A few more rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, belly drops, shoulders roll back, gaze goes up. As you exhale, press the hands around the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, belly drops, shoulders draw back. Exhale, shoulders broaden, tailbone drops. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come to nice long spine. And as you exhale, come back to your blanket. You're going to fold it again like you did before. So we're going to go a little deeper into our hips, taking that edge and bringing it forward, any fringes at the back. And then you're going to come and sit on that blanket again. So we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to go into Gomukhasana or cow legs. If that's not going to be for you, you're going to return back to the twist and hold there. Another option would be you would hold, or even better, lay down in figure four and just breathe there. So you have that as an option. So from here, taking that left leg, bring it under the right. Sitting up tall, take the right leg over the left. And again, you might need to sit up higher, but you should be able to get into this position, taking that right knee, stack it over the left. So again, if you find that you're rounding or your knees are too wide, if your knees are kind of like this, prop yourself up higher to get your legs on top. Sitting up tall, flex the feet, press those pinky edges into the floor, press the knees into the floor, and then start to slowly hinge forward. Good, knees pressed down, hinging forward. And then once you get to a space that you're comfortable enough to hold, maybe you take the block, that block goes on your knee, and you can rest your forehead on the block. Maybe if you're more lengthened out and forward, that block goes toward the floor, and you rest your chin on the knee, or maybe your forehead drops to the floor. So depending on the length of your torso, the flexibility of your hips, just breathing. Maybe you don't quite make it all the way down, you also have options for your blocks. Your elbows can come on the blocks. As your elbows go into the blocks, kind of let the chest come forward and relax the head. Keep pressing into the pinkies. Keep pressing down into the knees and let the chest come forward. Exhale fully. Inhale, start to bring yourself up. As you exhale, unwind those legs. Bring them back to center. Wiggling out the legs. And then bending the knees, draw that right foot under. Left foot over. And then sitting up tall on the sit bone, see if you can bring those knees to stack. So sometimes I need to kind of help my knees in. I try to walk my foot over and draw my knees opposite directions to get them to stack. Sit up tall and then hinging forward any little bit, finding that stretch in the hips. Press those pinky toes into the mat, flex the feet. And then again, you have options. Forehead to block, elbows to block, or forehead to knee. And then just breathe. So chest is coming forward. Notice and scan over the body where you're holding tension. And try to release it. Knees draw toward one another. Drawing your inner thighs slightly toward one another. And letting that breath be full. If you find the mind wanders, bring it back to your breath. When you adjust, when you either go deeper or need to adjust because the sensation has gotten too overwhelming and distracting the mind, do so with your breath. Move mindfully, move slowly. A few more rounds of breath. Exhale fully here. And slowly pressing yourself up. Bring those blocks out of the way, unwind the feet. And slowly let those legs come out, giving them a little shake. Then go ahead and take yourself off that bolster. You're going to lay down onto your block, but what I'd like you to do is take the blanket, unfold it, and roll it up into a little log. So you're going to roll it up into a log. We're going to use this later. So roll it up into a log. We're going to place this under our legs for a little bit more supported Shavasana. And just place that toward the end of your mat for right now. So taking your strap, and take that strap, you're going to bring yourself onto your back. Lower all the way down. And then pausing there for a moment, settling yourself in. And then you're going to take your strap, you're going to bend your right knee and place that strap around the ball of your right foot. Spread through your toes, straighten that leg, and then let that strap be an extension of your arm. So let your shoulder drop down. Bend your elbow even more, and then really push into the ball of the foot. Let that right hip drop down. And then just breathe there. That left leg's going to stay bent, so we're just getting into the right leg here. You're allowing that gravity to take over, letting the weight of your hand and your arm take over just a little bit to be able to strengthen and lengthen that hamstring. And see if you can drop down into that right hip more. And just breathe. Full breaths here. Try to relax the shoulder any little bit. The only little bit of tension might be in your forearm, in your hand with the grip. And you can always take both hands too and pull them down on each side. Exhale fully. Go ahead and bend into the knee. Release the strap. Place that foot on the ground. Pause for a moment. And then bend that left knee into the chest. Take that left leg up to the ceiling. And again, reach up with those arms and then let those shoulders grow heavy. Let your elbows bend and drop that left hip down. So the left hip likes to come up because we think we need our leg higher. Drop the left hip to the ground. Press into the ball of the foot. And then relax those shoulders. So again, you can do one hand. You can do two hands. Wherever you are, though, let the shoulders be heavy. Full breaths. Exhale fully here. Put a little bend into the knee. Release the strap. Place that foot on the ground. Hold and pause there. Take a moment. Let that settle in. And then from here, coming into Shavasana, staying in Shavasana as long as you need to. I'm going to say thank you for joining me here. Stay as long as you can in Shavasana. Just let yourself absorb this practice. Anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes would be wonderful if you can. Taking that blanket, you're going to support yourself with that blanket underneath your thighs. Let your feet grow wide. Maybe place something over your eyes. Palms turn up, getting nice and comfortable, chin lifted. Exhale fully. And take rest in Shavasana.